Now at 10, the third annual Forged and Fire Face-Off in Quapaw, Oklahoma. KOAM's Shagun Babadeli has the story. Plus, Carthage, Missouri's water and electric plant hosts a 5K and 1 mile fun run and walk in honor of Drinking Water Week. And a 10-vehicle collision Friday afternoon on I-44 claims the life of a Neosho, Missouri man.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Bladesmiths from across the country gathered in Quapaw, Oklahoma for the highly anticipated third annual Forged and Fire Face-Off. The event, held on Main Street, showcased the skills of craftsmanship and talented artisan in the world of bladesmithing.
Of knives here, there's everyday carry type knives, bowie knives, there is stock removal knives, forged knives. There's a lot of forged knives here. Master Smith Ray Kirk's going to be doing some demonstrations. It's a really fun event.
The event was free to the public. Rattle Design in Joplin hosts Old School Flash Day. This event is to celebrate and appreciate the style of American traditional tattoos that reaches back to the birth of Western tattooing. Coffee and tacos were available while waiting to get a little chunk of tattoo history.
So it's kind of a celebration of the style as well. American traditional, it's part of these guys' culture, and it's the first thing that they really learned. It's the first technique that they learned. So it's kind of nostalgic for them as well, and cool for them to be able to stretch that out again.
You could see more on this style of tattooing. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Carthage, Missouri's water electric plant hosts a 5K and 1 mile fun run and walk in honor of Drinking Water Week. This week brings awareness to the Carthage community about the benefits of tap water, that a safe, reliable water supply is crucial to any success of the community. The event gives a unique opportunity for the water professionals and the community as they join together to recognize the important role water plays in our daily lives.
And this run is to bring awareness to Water for People, which is an organization that exists to promote the development of high quality drinking water and sanitation services to those all over the world. We run and all the proceeds are donated to that cause.
The nonprofit Water for People helps the quality and sanitation across 9 countries. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office hosts Safety Day. This family fun day brings awareness to what the men and women do to protect the community. Gun safety, SWAT, and K9 demos were just a few of the activities going on, as well as face painting, shaved ice, and bounce houses for the kids.
Last day and the graduation for the academy. Basically, it's an opportunity for people to, for one day a week, come in and kind of get a little better understanding of what it is that we do at the Sheriff's Office. They get to take a tour of the jail, they get to shoot some firearms, they get some demonstrations from detectives and patrol units and things like that.
Of course, you can learn more about the graduation for the Academy. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. We go to meteorologist Sam Lane now with the first look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Carrie. It was a beautiful day to have any outdoor event, but then the storms started to roll in from the south, but we need the rainfall. In fact, right now on radar, we have a few areas of showers and storms still in our area. We're going to zoom in on some activity near Greenfield, also up towards Lamar. This was quite an intense storm further down to the south and west, also around Golden City. A little bit out towards the west, we have some thunderstorms still going on in Neodesha, and that's going to move up towards Fredonia along Highway 400 there. And also more storms are developing down in Oklahoma, so that's going to benefit the folks in southeastern Kansas as we go into the overnight hours with those showers still scattered around. Temperatures dropping through the 60s to around 64 by tomorrow morning. Looking down the lane, we have more scattered thunderstorms in the forecast. Then we're going to go through a little bit of a drier period, then some Friday thunderstorms and near normal temperatures. And of course, I'll have all the details on that in just a little bit.
Thanks, Sam. Missouri State Highway Patrol releases details regarding a 10-vehicle collision Friday afternoon on I-44 that claimed the life of a Neosho, Missouri man. The chain reaction rear-ended crash occurred at 4:45 p.m. on I-44 West, about 2 miles west of Mount Vernon. 9 of the vehicles involved were stopped traffic approaching bridge work at the Fairsight Branch double bridges. The chain reaction crash started as a tractor trailer driven by Patrick Joyner, 53 of Jefferson, Georgia, struck the Neosho man's vehicle from behind. Roger Alexander, 37, of Neosho, was driving a 2015 BMW 5501. He was airlifted to Mercy Springfield. He was pronounced at 6:50 p.m. Next of kin are notified. The crash report reveals 3 others involved suffered minor injuries and 1 moderate injuries. All were transported to Mercy Joplin for care. The MoDOT project will endure until June. Traffic crashes have occurred numerous times. However, this is the first known fatality crash. Coming up, President Biden spoke today about threats to the United States. Plus, they're going to take a heat wave in Portland and how to prepare for one. President Biden spoke today about threats to the United States, but they did not include immigration. The president addressed graduating students at Howard University. CBS's Christina Ruffini at the White House has more.
At Howard University today, President Biden told soon-to-be graduates that America is still in a fight for its soul.
Reject political extremism and reject political violence.
That's the same language Mr. Biden used to launch both presidential runs.
I said we're in a battle for the soul of America.
And without naming names, he reminded the predominantly black audience what his predecessor and current Republican challenger said following violence at a 2017 white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia.
A famous quote. There are very fine people on both sides. That's when I knew I had to stay engaged and get back into public life.
But unlike his last campaign, this time President Biden is running on his record as well as his rhetoric.
We are really putting it to Biden, but he's putting it to himself because the economy stinks, inflation is horrible.
Battling potential Republican challengers on the trail.
If we make 2024 election a referendum on Joe Biden and his failures, Republicans will win across the board.
And House Republicans back in Washington in a deja vu-inducing stalemate over raising the national debt limit.
Well, I think they're moving along. It's hard to tell. We've not reached the crunch point yet.
Top Republican lawmakers are supposed to have a debt ceiling meeting with the president here yesterday. That has now been pushed to sometime next week. Christina Ruffini, CBS News, the White House.
International staff of foreign organizations in the Gaza Strip were seen boarding buses on Saturday evening amid reports that Israel has allowed their exit from the embattled territory. Dozens of workers from various humanitarian and non-governmental organizations could be seen checking their names against lists that entering buses to take them to Israel. It was not immediately clear how many such workers were being evacuated. Israel and Palestinian migrants were unleashing salvos of fire for a 5th straight day on Saturday, with the Islamic Jihad militant group launching rockets and the Israel military pounding targets inside the Gaza Strip and threatening to step up its campaign. A Palestinian rocket killed 1 Palestinian laborer from Gaza who was working in Israel and seriously wounded another Palestinian man. Meanwhile, the Israel military raided the Baluta refugee camp near the northern city of Nablus, killing 2 Palestinians. Hopes for a ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian Jihad faded as sides traded fire Saturday. So far, 30 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed, at least 14 of them civilians. The end of Title 42 means the Biden administration's new policies are now in effect. Tens of thousands of migrants are awaiting processing as some cities across the country prepare to receive migrants. CBS News correspondent Christine Belisarius reports from Miami.
An uncertain future for migrants looking to seek asylum in the U.S. following an end to Title 42. An estimated 60,000 migrants are waiting near the border to start their asylum process. Currently, some 25,000 are in Border Patrol custody. The Biden administration is facing a flurry of criticism from Republicans.
When he started doing the catch and release, that's what invited people come in.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
We have had a plan for more than a year and a half. We've been executing on that plan, and we continue to execute on the plan. We knew the transition from the Public Health Authority of Title 42, as we transition to our traditional immigration authorities, was going to be tough.
Across the country, some cities are preparing for an influx of asylum seekers. In Brownsville, Texas, vacant school buildings will be used to process the migrants. In El Paso, a state of emergency is in effect, and buses are bringing in the migrants to a processing center. This immigration court in Charlotte handles cases for both North and South Carolina. The court has a case backlog in the tens of thousands.
Migrants have to go somewhere, and what we've seen is this is a destination because of the immigration court.
In Chicago,
how could you do that without consulting us?
Residents have filed a temporary restraining order against the city, which planned to turn a school into a shelter. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
The Biden administration is also weighing its legal options after a federal judge in Florida blocked them from continuing a migrant release policy designed to alleviate overcrowding in holding facilities. A little later, we're going to be looking at the week's top health stories.
Well, another spring-like day out there with warm temperatures and scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon hours. Right now in Seneca, Missouri, at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, things are calming down just a little bit. They've had some showers and thunderstorms this morning and then again this afternoon. The allergies have been bad today, 9.7 on a scale of 12. Tomorrow a little bit better, 7.3, so we'll put that in the moderate category. Most of that is mulberry, oak, and walnut pollens out there. This afternoon we made it up to 82 degrees, starting out at 63, which was above the normals of 76 and 55. And check out the rainfall. We've had a little bit over 7/10 of an inch of rain so far today. This has been updated. We're still behind though for the year, around 3 3/4 of an inch of rain, and hopefully we're going to catch up on that in the coming days. But the drought is starting to expand now down into northwestern Arkansas and southwest Missouri. Everyone is in the dry conditions right now, but hopefully we're going to start making a dent in this drought situation. Just to show you how bad it is, let's take a look at the rainfall for Sedan, Kansas over the last year. For the last year, they should have had 40.74 inches of rain, and so far, the last 365 days, they've only had 19, half of what they normally have this time of year, and it's just been bad across southeastern Kansas. But there is some relief on the way right now. We have some scattered showers and storms over the last few hours moving up from the south along an outflow boundary that's been moving towards the north. We're also starting to see some showers and storms developing just west of Pittsburgh and also out towards the west, and that's going to continue for at least a little bit longer. Zooming in on one thunder shower near Lamar right now, and back off towards the west we have some thunderstorms right now near Thayer and also Neodesha. These are all drifting off towards the north, and they've got quite a bit of rain there in Fredonia in the last couple of days as well. Satellite view and water vapor showing a big storm system on the west coast that's slowly moving in our direction, but it's running into this bridge of high pressure that is strengthening. So that means the rain chances are going to start to go down in the coming days. But right now we're going to enjoy it while we can with temperatures in the 60s and 70s with light and variable winds. Right now in Joplin, you can see the lightning off in the distance occasionally. 67 degrees right now with a dew point of 63, so we have a high humidity of 87%. Now tomorrow there is a marginal risk of severe weather, but it's not in our area. It's up towards the north and east from, let's say, just east of Kansas City to St. Louis, over to Paducah, down to Huntsville, Alabama. Not expecting a whole lot of severe weather here. Wouldn't be surprised to see maybe some pea-size hail with some of the storms tomorrow, but that's about it. Rain chances are going to be with us through the overnight hours and then increasing tomorrow and then staying around 40% as we go through tomorrow afternoon and evening. Rainfall amounts are going to be generous in isolated spots. Some areas could pick up an inch or so, but I think most areas are going to average around 3/4 to maybe half an inch of rainfall. And like I said, some isolated spots might get a little bit more than that. Temperatures tonight are going to drop through the 60s with light and variable winds. Then tomorrow, temperatures are going to be rebounding up into the lower 80s with scattered storms around once again. And then as we go into Monday morning, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-60s. And then Monday afternoon, a better chance of storms, I think, down to the south with temperatures in the 70s and the 80s. And then as we go into Tuesday morning, we're going to see scattered showers once again across our area. How about the next 7 days? Well, storms again tomorrow. And then the chances start to decrease, Carrie, as we go through the week until we get to Friday when we have another chance of storms across the area and then drier the early part of next week.
All right, so if you can't shower your mother for Mother's Day, we're going to get showers
That's exactly right.
I was saving that one. Okay.
That's right.
Thank you, Sam. The COVID-19 public health emergency officials end, and another giant change may be coming in women's access to reproductive health care. Naomi Ruckham has some of the week's top health stories.
The nation's COVID-19 public health emergency has expired. With many Americans now vaccinated against the virus, COVID deaths and hospitalizations have dropped dramatically. Free tests won't be as readily available, and the CDC will no longer collect state and local data on COVID cases. An FDA panel of health experts unanimously voted to recommend making a birth control pill available over the counter for the first time.
The evidence demonstrates that the benefits clearly exceed the risks.
The recommendation came after a 2-day meeting where health experts discussed whether the oral contraceptive called O-pill should be made available without a prescription. The FDA is expected to make a final decision this summer. And federal regulators are easing blood donation rules for gay and bisexual men. Under new FDA guidelines, those in monogamous relationships can give blood without abstaining from sex for 3 months. Now all potential donors will be screened with a new questionnaire at blood banks, evaluating individual risks for HIV based on sexual behavior and other factors. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
The temperatures we're looking at this weekend are not that high compared to what we've experienced, for example, last summer. But it's the middle of May. People's bodies are not yet acclimatized to this kind of temperature, and we're just not ready with this wrecking breaker heat. Dr. Ann Loffer says the sudden switch in temperature can increase the risk of heart-related illness, especially for those enjoying the outdoors. This Mother's Day weekend, and as our bodies work to adjust, the Multnomah County InterHealth Director encourages people to pack on the sunscreen, hydrate often, maximize shade, and watch out for signs of heat exhaustion, such as excessive sweating, increased body temperature, nausea, and dizziness. With Dr. Loeffler warning, these signs are not just important to recognize in yourself, but also for those most vulnerable. If you see some kids or young, enthusiastic people or older folks and they're sweating and they're looking a little kid, work with them to get them water, get them cool, loosened clothing, because you definitely want to keep ahead of the kind of symptoms so they don't turn into a heat stroke. Still ahead, Missouri Southern Lions baseball team is competing in the MIAA championship game. And the Crowder Rough Riders are in Joplin looking to advance districts. Highlights of today's action coming up in sports.
Well, the MIAA semifinals are underway in Warrensburg, Missouri. Yesterday, the Missouri Southern Lions eliminated their rivals Pittsburgh State. Lions come into today only one win away from advancing to the MIAA championship game. Lions had to win in order to get there. They did just that, taking down Northeastern State 12-1 in 7 innings. Matt Miller had a big day, going 2 for 5 with a home run and a double. He picks up 3 RBIs. Ethan Clark goes 1 for 4 with a 3-run triple. He also picks up 3 RBIs. With that win, Southern now advances to the MIAA championship game against Central Missouri. So in the MIAA championship game against Central Missouri, it was the complete opposite result. Missouri Southern gets shut out in a blowout. Mules defeat the Lions 15-0. Ethan Clark goes 1 for 3 with a double in this one. Central Missouri wins the MIAA regular season title and the MIAA tournament, so Missouri Southern will have to wait out the selection process to see where they will be placed in the NCAA Division II regionals. Well, the Crowder Rough Riders are in Joplin hosting the NJCAA regionals. Rough Riders only 1 victory away from moving on to districts. Crowder going up against St. Charles will play ball on the campus of Southern Missouri today. The game was originally scheduled to be at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin, but due to poor field conditions, we moved to Warner Turner Field. So starting the top of the second inning, no score. Dribbler hit to the mound. Brett Gasterman throws a wild out to first base. St. Charles gets on the board, 1-0 Cougars. Rough Riders looking to answer that. They do just that. Bottom of the second inning, same score. Colton Reynolds hammers this to left, bounces over the left fielder's head. Joey Morton and Tyler Favretto come in to score. Crowder takes a 2-1 lead off the 2-run RBI double. So to the bottom of the third now, same score. Joe Reed at the plate drives this deep to center field, and see you later. Reed is fired up after that 3-run jack. That puts the Rough Riders up 5-2. Rough Riders go on to win this one 13-2 over St. Charles. The Rough Riders are headed to districts next weekend. Well, both the Royals and the Cardinals have had a much better to the start of the month of May than April. Both teams are on the road this weekend for interleague matchups. Cardinals and Red Sox at Fenway Park, top of the 7th inning, 3-0 Red Sox. Nolan Arenado gets the Redbirds on the board after a moonshot over the Green Monsters. Solo home run, 5th of the year for Arenado. Cardinals down 3-1. So to the top of the 9th, Cardinals down 3-2, bases loaded. This one's chopped to second base. Double play ends the game, right? Wrong. Not so fast, my friend. Wild throw by Kike Hernandez. Cardinals score 2 runs off the air. They go up 4-3. His face tells it all. 3-run 9th inning by St. Louis gets the Redbirds a 4-3 win over Boston. Royals in Milwaukee tonight against the Brewers, and they look to even the series, but Brewers win this one 4-3 in the walk-off sacrifice fly against the Royals. Series finale is tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. That'll be it for sports tonight. We'll be back after this.
All right, tell us about the weather this weekend.
All right, we have scattered storms tonight and again tomorrow for Mother's Day, but not everybody's going to get wet. And then as we head through the rest of the week, looking pretty good, except for maybe Friday, some more storms.
All right, what about sports?
Final sports note, Missouri Southern Baseball and Pitt State might be selected in the NCAA regionals tomorrow. Selection shows at 9 p.m. tomorrow night.
Okay, well, don't let the showers tomorrow ruin your Mother's Day. You can always shower your mother with gifts. I'm going to work on that. It's for tomorrow. I'll work on that. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for making us a part of your night.